So welcome back student to a new lecture. As we have discussed in last lecture, we will continue with our discussion and we will start a new topic, that is protective relaying. So this one, protective relaying, I told you that switchgear portion I will leave for you guys to have a look, because notes I have already shared. So this is the portion which is relatively numerical based or conceptually more important. So I will go to that topic first. If required, then I will come back to this. So what I have done here is I have made some new notes in protective relaying, and I have inserted in between the old notes. So I will show you. Like here I have inserted this page, first page, second page, and then you will come back to your old notes. So up to 4 pages are there. So as and when it is required, I will be inserting new pages so that you have a better understanding of the topic. So let's start. So what is protective relaying? So if you can refer to our first lecture when we have discussed different types of faults. So there are shunt faults, series faults, symmetrical fault, unsymmetrical faults. These faults are generally occur due to a conductor touching to a ground or another conductor due to any number of reasons, conductor snapping, tree falling, anything, or insulation failures. So all these are things due to these, the faults occurs in a transmission line or in a system, not in transmission line, anywhere, in generator also, in motor also, in transformer also. So in addition to various faults, there are several abnormal conditions which exist during which the currents are very high. In forward condition also currents are high, but there are some conditions which are not faults, but during that conditions also your current is very high. What are these conditions? Such examples, some of the examples I have given. Magnetizations of an unloaded generator. If you magnetize in unload generator, there will be a huge magnetization current, like your inrush current in transformer. No loaded transformer, if you charge it, there will be high inrush current flow. Starting current of an induction motor, starting current is always very high. And stable power swings. Stable power swings, it is a little complicated phenomena. When it is an interconnected system, power flows from one zone to another zone. Then power swings. Some swings are stable, some swings are not stable. So during all these conditions, the first 3 conditions, your current becomes very high. So your protection system may treat it as a fault, which is not a fault. So your protection system must be able to discriminate between the normal operating condition and abnormal operating condition. And in this case, generally the impedance matters. The impedance seen by the relay, you will got it now when you will study impedance relay. So in all these conditions, these are abnormal conditions. These are not fault conditions. These are normal conditions, but in this condition, the current becomes abnormal or high. So your protection should not trip in these conditions. Only in fault condition it should trip. So what is protective relaying? So if you define the protective relaying means to detect the fault with the help of CT and PT. It will sense there is a fault by 2 sensing elements, CT and PT. They are the eyes and ear of the protection system, through which they can feel if there is any fault. And then selectively it removed only the faulty part from the rest of the system. It will remove the faulty portion, not the entire system. It will not black out the entire. If there is a fault, the entire system is black out. It is not desirable. What we need to that particular fault location or fault part should be isolated by tripping the appropriate number of circuit breaker. If it is needed to trip 1 circuit breaker, then it will trip 1 circuit breaker. If it is needed to trip 2 circuit breaker, then it will trip 2 circuit breaker. So this is the concept of protective relaying. So the first thing as a protection device is your relay, because relay senses, and by which it senses CT and PT. CT, PT means current transformer and potential transformer, which will give you current. It will give you idea about PT. So let us see a simple diagram, how a simple relay can sense, or how does it operate, relay circuit breaker, so that it becomes easy for you to understand the later part. Suppose I take a simple network, a generator, a bus bar, and a line. This is a line. line current is flowing, and there is a fault. Here it is fault. So you can see at the very beginning of the line there is a circuit breaker. I have given some gap between these two circuit breakers, CT, PT. This is PT. So there is a gap between, but there is no gap. They are actually at one point only, virtually at same place, at the substation itself. To indicate, I have given some length. There is no length. The length is negligible. So there is a CT, there is a PT. It is the relay is sensing through this. If it senses something abnormal or something that in which condition it should trip, then it will send a trip signal to your circuit breaker. Then your circuit breaker will trip. Then this line will get isolated. So this is the basic idea of the relay. So relay just sends, and it sends the trip signal to the circuit breaker. That's all. So if you see the conceptual relay diagram, what is the conceptual relay diagram? It will sense current from CT, it will sense current from PT, though it will measure voltage, but current will come. And it will indicate what is the appropriate magnitude of that voltage. And then setting, you will give some settings. Suppose you are sensing current, you know that up to 10 ampere current it is no fault. Above 10 ampere it is fault. So you will give some settings. Suppose you want to set time 1 second, up to 1 second it should not trip. It should wait up to 1 second. So these are settings, time settings, current settings, different settings in the relay you can provide. If the sensing elements send and the relay sense that the things that it getting is above that threshold value, that settings, then only it will trip it. Otherwise it will not trip it. So now see how circuit breaker and trip circuit operates. Let us see now how circuit breaker operates. Circuit breaker is electrically operated, electrically normally closed. It is NC. NC means it is normally closed. Normally the circuit breaker is closed, line is always conducting, and due to which NC switch, due to tension of the spring, there is a spring connected in the contact points. So due to this tension it is normally closed and opens when tripped by relay. The stored energy in the spring is demagnetized by the trip circuit, which energizes the trip coil, and the circuit breaker opens. So there is a spring which stores the mechanical energy, and it is NC. So suppose you release it, then due to spring pressure, the contacts are open at a very fraction of time. So that is known as de-energized. Spring is de-energized. You are compressing the spring and it is NC. Now you give some signal so that spring discharge or de-energize, so that it opens momentarily. So you see this one. This one, if you see, it will get more clear idea. Suppose there is a generator, again a breaker, which is NC. There are two contact points and it is always connected. You can see this one. There are 2 points and it is connected. So it is touching NC. There is a CT PT. There is a fault in here. It is touching ground. That is fault. So it is sensing CT PT. The relay is sensing, and there is a trip coil. This is the trip circuit. This entire circuit is trip circuit. This circuit. This zone is your trip circuit. So there is a battery connection. There is a coil. It is open. NO means it is open. So this contact are open. Whenever relay senses that there is a fault, what will happen? This contact will be closed. Once this is closed, then this circuit is closed. Current starts flowing through this. Once this current starts flowing, this coil get energized. So it becomes a magnet. So it is a mechanical, some magnetic material will be there. So if it becomes magnet, then it will pull it. It will pull the magnet. It will pull the bar below because it is magnet. So it will pull it. So if it is pulling it, then this circuit, this operation, it is pulling. If you pull this rod, then it will be open. So the circuit breaker opens. So this was the idea of the circuit breaker. How does this operates? Now the fundamental requirements of the relay or attributes of the relay, that is already there in your notes. So you don't look at this one. We will come to this one later in different notes. I will provide it. So what are the requirements of a relaying or relay? Fundamental or relaying means, productive relaying is basically it is saying the attributes, some features. What should be the features of the relay? The number one, it should be selective. Selective means only that portion which is fault, that should be removed, not the entire system is removed. Suppose you have some infection on your hand, so your hand should be treated. It's not the entire body should be treated. Okay, so that is the question here. It is the ability of the protector to select the exact point of the system in trouble and disconnect the faulty part without disturbing the rest of the system. So the faulty part will be isolated and the healthy part will remain healthy and the other peoples will get power. So this was the first properties that should have a relay. It should properly select. Then speed. Speed means how fast it can work. The electric apparatus made up to carry fault current. If you carry the fault current for a long time, then it is damaged. The whole idea of the protection will fail, because your transformer coil, your all other equipment, CT, PT, breaker, these will all get damaged if excessive current flows through it due to overheating. Therefore, relay should disconnect the faulty section as fast as possible. The setting that you have provided, it should maintain that speed. Then sensitivity. Sensitivity means how sensible it is to your fault. Sensible means how small. If there is a small deviance in the abnormal condition, it should sense the specified abnormal condition. Means we have fixed a relay to sense a particular thing, even if suppose you have sensed it up to 10, so it is 10.01, 10 ampere. If it is a 10.000 ampere, then also it should sensitive. That is known as the sensitive. It should work for its specified condition, specified reason for which it was installed. Next, reliability. How reliable it is? It is the ability of the relay system to operate under predetermined conditions. Means how reliable, how much you can rely on the relay that it will work during that abnormal condition. Next is simplicity. The protection system should be as simple as it is, so that it can be easily maintained. It should not be so much complicated that the maintenance of this one or maintaining that becomes complicated. Next, last one is economy. Economy always attributes for anything. We always think everything should be very cheap. We need best thing in cheap rate. That is always desirable. So the protection system should be economical. That means it should not be high cost. It should be viable, because the utility will be using it. The companies will be using it. If it is very high, then electricity bill will be very high. So I think we'll keep up to this much, and we will continue to our different zones of protection and primary protection, breakup protection in next class. So do subscribe the channel and tell your friends to subscribe it. Stay safe. Bye.